It took a red diaper baby, one born into a committed activist communist family, dedicating his life's work to the cause, until reason and humanity overcame him, to provide the rest of us the intimate portrait of the inner sanctums of the revolutionary left. For this, we all owe him a great debt of gratitude. I, for one, would not be quite the man that I hope that I am today if it were not for the indispensable work of this man. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2017 American Freedom Alliance's Hero of Conscience Award recipient, David Horowitz. David. The American Freedom Alliance is proud to present the 2017 Hero of Conscience Award to David Horowitz for having the courage to turn his second thoughts into action, thereby becoming one of the most fearless, effective, and important defenders of freedom and of all that is good and right about America.
Thank you. Thank you, Howard. I want to thank Karen and the American Freedom Alliance for this honor. And I want to thank Geert Wilders, who is a longtime friend and a champion of our cause, who traveled a quarter of a way around the world to be here tonight. Thank you, Geert. I have always referred to my David Horowitz Freedom Center as a battle tank, not a think tank. And I have some tank commanders here. Bill Whittle, Bosch Foston, where's Bosch? Who is the artist who won the Mohammed Cartoon Award and does a lot of illustrations for us, and Daniel Greenfield. Where's Daniel? And all of these gentlemen are beneficiaries of another unsung hero who is here tonight and who is, let me just say, it takes a certain kind of sponsor to support people like us who get into trouble all the time because we're so aggressive. And it takes somebody who thinks, who's a battler and a fighter the way we are. And that's Dr. Bob Shillman. Thank you, Dr. Bob. And I want to thank all of you for this support. When I first came into the right, out of the left, I looked around more than 30 years ago and said, where are the ground forces? Where are the protesters? Where's the solidarity? 16 years ago, I undertook a campaign against reparations for slavery paid by people who never owned slaves to people who never were slaves. 137 years after America lost 350,000 Union lives to free the slaves. And of course, I was called a racist from one end of the country to the other. And there was kind of dead silence in the conservative community, with the exceptions of Thomas Sowell and Walter Williams, who came to my defense. The attitude of conservatives then was kind of, whoa, let's see if David survives this one. That began to change with Obama has been a great teacher of conservatives. The Tea Party is the first time you saw conservatives marching together in demonstrations. And now with the, Trump has inspired a whole basket of deplorables to do this. And that's why an event like this, I mean, I'm basically a shy person, you wouldn't know it, but I am. But it's so important for us to come together like this and to support people on the front lines. We are in a civil war situation. It's not going to be like the last Civil War because the federal government is so powerful that whoever controls the federal government will control the outcome of this war. So there's not going to be pitched battles. Well, there may be some. There already was one at Berkeley, which we won. It is the first time, it is the second time that the Democratic Party has seceded from the Union. And the first time since Abraham Lincoln's election in 1860 that an incoming president, or that the opposition party declared war on an incoming president before he even got in office. We have a tradition in this country called a honeymoon for an incoming president. And it really speaks to the essence of what our democracy is. We are a country who was formed by diverse people coming from different nations, different ethnicities, people who of passionate religious beliefs that were at war with each other. But when they came together in America, they created this political framework in which we put our origins behind us, our diversity, our differences, where we are all equal in the eyes of our Creator and therefore need to be equal in the eyes of the government. Our motto speaks to this. It's E pluribus unum. That's the official motto of the United States. Out of many, one. And the honeymoon that we give to incoming presidents is it's like a political rite that celebrates our oneness. That political campaigns are by nature divisive and they exaggerate differences. And so the honeymoon given to incoming presidents is that we recognize that we're part of one nation. And we're going to put our differences aside, and the average, according to Gallup, as some of you have heard me say before, is 7 months. And of course, Trump didn't get 7 seconds. But he got, the Democrats are very open, calling for impeachment before he's even been in office a day, and describing what they're doing as a resistance. Partisans resist to Nazi occupations. In a democracy, an opposition party is not a resistance, particularly not on day one. So I've thought a lot about this, and this is what I think is going on and why our country is so divided and people are so deranged. Some of it has to do with Trump's irrepressible personality. A lot of it has to do with his refusal to back down. But here's what it is. If you think about it, you think, what is the creed of the left, the progressives, the Democratic Party? It's identity politics. It's the antithesis of the American idea. The left describes this as cultural Marxism, if you read leftist analyses of themselves. That is, it's not just the emphasis on the differences, racial differences, ethnic differences, gender differences, but the idea that the relationship between the different parties is one of oppressor and oppressed. And the term of art they have for this is people of color, of course. which is not, as I pointed out, it's not English. We don't have televisions of color. It's an ideological construct, and it's meant to, well, when you think about it, Maharajas in India are people of color. Islamic beheaders in Syria are people of color. Everybody in the world is people of color except white people who are the oppressors and the bad people. And this is a war. It's an irreconcilable conflict. And the Democratic Party, you have to understand, is the party of Bernie Sanders, who would have been president, except that the crooked Clintons fixed the primaries with the help of Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Donna Brazile. And he is a lifelong communist, Bernie Sanders. The fact that there's a Muslim, not just a Muslim, but a Muslim Brotherhood Muslim, who's the deputy head of whatever he is Keith Ellison, chair of the Democratic National Committee, tells you everything you need to know about this struggle. I believe we have a fighting chance. My head tells me that things are really bad. We've lost our schools. In particular, we have these students here from universities, which might as well be universities of the University of Havana, or the I'm deadly serious, or the University of Tehran, where there is no discourse. There is only the left, where people like myself, but people who are really out there, like Milo Yiannopoulos, can't speak at these campuses, where conservative professors have been purged, and this goes right through to our K-12 schools as well. So the country is in dire straits, and what's necessary is for all of us to fight and hear it, and me can't do it by ourselves. We need you. We need troops. We need all those people who came out for Trump. I was actually very pleased on Armed Forces Day, which was yesterday, I think, that in Thousand Oaks there was a demonstration, Make America Great Again. This is what it comes down to. This is where the rubber hits the road. And I just see this award, I thank you for it, but to me it's just part of us being an army together in this fight.